YouTube channel, guys, and yep, by the title of the video you know what's going on. The old flywheel saga continues. So here we got my 1985 Chevy S10 2.8 carbureted V6 with the 5-speed swap. Yeah, it has a 5-speed now. The last video you've seen this where we swapped it from an automatic 700R4 to a 4-speed manual. Now it has a 5-speed manual. I didn't like the 4-speed. 4-speed made noise. First gear whined, and third gear made a little noise, so I wasn't happy with that. I went back to the junkyard, found a 5-speed from an 89 S10 with almost 300,000 miles, and took a gamble on it. 150 bucks for it, put it in here, and it works. However, we still have that very, very horrible vibration from the engine itself, which is not good. You can't drive it. It's just undrivable. Here's the flywheel, finally, the correct one. And I'm need to tell you something else, man. This has been very, very, very hard to track down and find and able to get. Now, some people said that you could take it to a machine shop and take the weight off of the flex plate that I have and swap it over. Everybody argued with me in the post that I had. You know, people are going to be like that. They don't really know, which is fine. I get it. They're trying to help. But my engine, even though it's a Reman Camaro long block crate engine, it did not have the 3.1 crank in it that is internally balanced, or the later model crank 2.8 in it. It had the external balance crank because, for one, I got pictures of with the oil pan off, and it does not have that piece that is balanced on the crank. Now I'll throw that picture in so you can check that out real quick, but without that picture I wouldn't have known. But the difference is I got this on here. This right here is an external balance crank. The ones that are internal balance do not have this. It looks like a little brake pad shoe for your brakes, and it's welded to it, and it's got little welds all the way around for the ring gear. But most importantly, it's got the indentation, but that doesn't matter. The main piece is this right here. If yours didn't have this, then you would have the internal balance. But if you got this, then it's external. And external balance is from 1982 to 1987 only. You cannot get it from anywhere else. Has to be from those years. Rock Auto screwed me. Wrong Auto got me again. Part number's on here somewhere. I believe that's it. 167513. Because I don't see another one on here. But this was 40 bucks. And this one, well, actually the one that came in this box from Rock Auto is on the engine now, and I'll get that off and swap this one on. But basically it's the same identical one that this one is right here that I'm taking out. Identically the same one, same numbers, same everything. And I got this from a 83 S10 2.8 4-wheel drive 4-speed at the junkyard. The guys pulled it for me, and I took it to Napa and had it resurfaced. I thought Napa screwed me or they done something to it, but come to find out, I was missing the weight the entire time. Now this one is extremely heavy, way more heavy than the other one that's actually for this engine. And the numbers for it are right there: 140 46 567N. If you look those numbers up, you'll find it on Rock Auto, which is in that box. The exact same one that I bought from Rock Auto that I thought was the correct one. They stated on there that it was. It is not. If you look up an 86 or a 87 S10 Blazer or Red Ogre S10, whatever, 2.8, it will bring up the correct flywheel. I don't know why that, for some odd reason that, you know, Rock Auto doesn't pull up the correct one when you put in 82 to 85. Anyway, long story short, I put this one on. It did not work. This one was the one that was on in the last video, putting this whole truck together from an automatic to a manual. Took that out. I put the one in this box that's on the engine now. It still shakes and vibrates like crazy. Took that off. I tried a 92 flywheel 2.8 that I had, and this one has stamped in it 92 right there, and the numbers on this one 140, 4, 6, 5, 6, 7 is the numbers. 140, 4, 6, 5, 6, 7. There's the same thing for the other one that I got. But anyway, that didn't work. It shook worse, if not about the same. So I knew it wasn't an external or internal balance crank when I tried that one for sure. So finally, somebody reached out on the forums, showed me the correct one of what it's supposed to look like, and that's this one right here. This one has the little weight on it, and that's exactly what it's supposed to look like. You can see the indentation sticks outward just a bit on the back, and the numbers are 140, looks like 33092N, and it's got, what is that, L93 or something on it. But the main important piece is it's got this right here. That's all that matters, really. So I'm gonna clean this up. I'm not gonna take it to Napa. I don't want to chance that. I don't want to spend another 50 bucks. I want to clean it up. I've got a tool that'll do that without hurting it. It's not that bad. You can see the shine in it. And clean it up with the surface and just throw it on. Because I really want to find out and make sure this is actually going to work before spending any more money on this. I spent a crap ton swapping the truck, getting to this point, and still could not drive it. This whole entire deal has been just a mess. But we're going to rip the whole truck apart and just get right into it. So get this thing back on stands, ramps again. And I've done this so many times now with the automatic transmissions. And now, how many times is it now? 2 or 3 times with the manual. I know exactly how many bolts there is, what sizes, tools, wrenches, and all that stuff I need. So enough jib jabbering. We'll get right into this and get this swapped out and see what happens. Hopefully, fingers crossed that this is got the transmission out, flywheel off, and you can see where it's been leaking from the oil pan. I thought it was rim main seal, but it's not leaking from the crank and down. So hopefully that's still fine, because you got to pull the engine out to do the rim main seal. It's a 2-piece, 5.5 millimeters, and the oil pan has to come off, and there ain't no daggum way that I am pulling the engine out to do that. And you got to take the pan off, and you can't get the pan off with it in the truck. So, oh well. Where I rigged it up with silicone looks like to where it's leaking from, and then I got a leak on this side of the block all the way down to the oil pan from the valve cover, looks like, from the back. So I got to address that, and I got something else for that issue that I'm gonna do. But yeah, everything is out, and here's the flywheel that was on it. This is the one from Rock Auto that supposedly fit. Well, guess what? Don't have that weight, and it doesn't look anything like the one that I have. So yeah, I only paid 40 bucks for that, and with their return policy crap, you know, I'm not about to have to deal with returning that and barely getting any money back, so I'm just going to keep it. This is the one that's going to be cleaned up, and I'm just going to throw it on. That's just how it's going to be. I don't care how it looks. I just want the surfaces clean for where the clutch actually goes to the flywheel. But big difference there. Actually, it does look the same on the back. It just doesn't have that weight. So I probably could have had a machine shop take the weight off of the flex plate and put it on the other flywheel over there and had it balanced, but who knows how much that would have charged, and yeah, and who knows if it would have worked after all that effort. Alright, so I got the flywheel mounted, and I went to go put the clutch disc and pressure plate and everything on. Pressure plate would not bolt to the flywheel, and I'm like, oh, that's not good. Started looking, and this one's actually too small. Apparently there's 2 different ones you can get. Now I don't know about ones that are 2-wheel drive, but the flywheel I got is off of a 4-wheel drive. I don't know if that makes a difference or not. Hopefully not, because, you know, it's a 2-wheel drive truck, and I hope my transmission bolts to it, but it should. Anyway, the clutch disc and all that stuff is different too. So the clutch disc and the pressure plate. Went back to the part store, picked up this guy, and show you the part numbers and stuff, the differences. tell, here's the new clutch. I'm kind of glad in a way, because the clutch that I have on the engine, using it a couple times, maybe around 10 miles on it or so, if that, driving it around, testing stuff with bad flywheels, has kind of put some wear marks into the clutch. So in a way, it's a blessing in disguise, because yeah, I get a new clutch, and at the same time, you know, $160 versus $85. Yeah, that sucks. But, you know, and I can't return this one because I've already used it, so I'm got to eat that. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna pop this new clutch in, and everything else stays the same. I'm pretty sure the bearing, pilot bearing, clutch fork bearing is the same between all of them. I don't think that matters. The kit I got that is going to work with the flywheel that I have is NU 1905. It comes with everything. I don't need any of this. I've already installed the bearing, the pilot bearing bushing. Comes with a new alignment tool. That's cool. I'm pretty sure this is the same. I really don't think that's any different. If it is, we'll just swap it out. It's not a big deal. I'll check that out. And the one that did not fit is NU 1904. So they're just one number off from the two. I'm also using the original clutch fork that came with the 4-speed and the bell housing from the 4-speed, because the new clutch fork did not sit in this area that great like the original one did. I didn't want to use this one because it was all rusty like and crusty like, so I bought a new one, and it just didn't fit in here well. It kept wanting to fall when trying to mount the slave cylinder, and when you're trying to put the transmission in, this wanted to fall off of the pivot ball right here, and you can't have that happen. That falls off, and you got to take it back out and pop this back on. So anyway, put this back in here, cleaned it up the best I could, greased this up, and threw that back on. But it should work with the bell housing. I need to get another one. This one's cracked. It's cracked here at this, and somewhere else. I think it's right in here. It's cracked. Yeah, right there. Big old crack. That's just great. So I need another bell housing, but for now I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to throw this all back together. So we'll take some brake clean all this off, because they put Cosmoline on it so they don't rust while they're sitting on the shelf, and put the new clutch disc in, put everything back together. I know it's dark, but you can really tell the difference between this little tiny thing and this one over here. Big difference there. This one's way larger diameter than that clutch. Alright, so next day, the bell housing and everything is back together. Cross member, transmission, my rigged up exhaust for now. As I explained before, eventually it's going to go to the exhaust shop, so just ignore how crappy it looks. But it's going to work for now. So I guess it's now time to start it up and see what happens. See if it shakes real bad and whatever else. The drive shaft's not in it yet. I got to put a shaft seal in it, and then I can put the drive shaft back in. But I got to put the braces, bar braces on that go from this mineral center part of the trans to the bell housing. There's 2 of those. There's supposed to be 2 more that go from the bell housing to the engine block, but my motor mounts do not have those pieces on the brackets, so because it wasn't a manual. So anyway, I'm gonna fire it up and see what happens. All right, cold start. Shaking anymore. Shifter still. Huh. I wonder if the dust shield is hitting the flywheel because of the weight. Alright. Sure enough, this is what's been hitting. Been hitting right here. Pretty bad. I tried pushing it inward so it wouldn't hit, but it's still not going to work. I had a feeling that's what it was. I'm probably going to have to find another dust shield because, well, this one's beat to pieces and it was all I could find at the junkyard at the time. But I'm going to need the one off of the Blazer that I got this flywheel from because evidently having the weight, this is different. Thicker. I don't know how it's made different, but I know it's different. And the starter is shimmed, so let's see what happens now. Hey, now we're cooking with grease. Front of the crank is doing this a little bit. That ain't good. The dampener is new, the harmonic balancer, so, and the harmonic balancer, I did find out they are the same between 82 to 93. They're all the same harmonic balancer, so there's not a difference there that you can mix them up. But I can see it doing this a little bit. Not good. Button up the exhaust a little bit more. The everything is in. Tail shaft seal out of place. Drive shaft is in. U joints are brand new, and fluids in it, so it's ready to go. The braces are on the transmission to the bell housing. So now it's just left to drop it down and test drive it. See how it goes. All right, got it sitting here running. Letting it warm up a bit. Oil pressure still looking good. Temperature, yeah. Charging, gotta get, we got a half a tank. Should be fine. It's not vibrating no more though. Couldn't do that before. At all. Any RPM above 1,000 or so, 1,500 is 2, it was shaking like it was gonna fall apart. Do this, see what happens. I don't know how much I like that camera angle, but wow, oh my God. Finally, yes, it's fixed. Woo! Oh my God, you just don't know how much I wanted that. How many times I've taken this truck apart, put it back together, taken it apart, put it back together. I mean, it all started with the engine swap. Did the engine swap, 2 weeks, transmission grenades, put another automatic transmission in it. That one's no good, it slips. Take it back out, put another transmission in it, back to a 4-speed, because I tried a 3-speed, didn't work. 4-speed, no go. That lasted 20 miles of that. And I had another automatic transmission I was going to use. Nope, that one was no good either. I didn't put it in here, thank God, but it was no good. I pulled the pan on it before I put it in the truck, or was going to put it in the truck. And man, there was so much material, clutch stuff in that thing. I was like, there's no way I'm even going to attempt to even try that. It's nothing going to be, it's just going to be a failure. And so the next step was manual swap it. Put a 4-speed in it, and the 4-speed, it did what it's supposed to, but the flywheel I got from the junkyard, it was supposed to have been the correct one, was not the correct one. So I pulled that 4-speed back out after swapping it, and then, in the middle of swapping it, just to get it swapped, was a hassle. God, listen to that exhaust. Sounds so damn good. The slave cylinder, no, the clutch master cylinder that goes to the firewall to the clutch pedal wouldn't fit the clutch pedal. So I go get another clutch pedal assembly at the junkyard, searching, find another one, get it, come back, put it together, still no go. So then I had a master cylinder problem. The master cylinder that I used would not fit the clutch pedal assembly. So here we are again. So I think I drove all the way to Charlotte to get that one, because they were the only ones that had it. And once I'd done that, then it was still a flywheel problem. God, that sounds so good. It has a perfect tone to it when you're hitting somewhere around 2,500 to $4,000. It's got just that crisp. And I don't know how fast I'm going. This transmission is out of an 89 S10 that had 2.5 with almost 300,000 miles. So it has electronic speedometer, not only mechanical. So I've got to find something that swaps it over from mechanical or electronic to mechanical, or just go get new gauges, which is what I'm thinking about doing, and wire it all up that way and keep the electronic control sensor on the transmission. But yeah, after trying 2 flywheels and all the other mess that I went through, then we get to the part of waiting 2 weeks for a junkyard to pull the flywheel I needed, which is what's on it now. Paid $90, and it took them almost 2 weeks to pull the damn thing. I don't know why. It's not that hard. I would have done it, but it was 4-wheel drive, and how they had it sitting on top of the wheels and stuff was not safe, and I wasn't about to try that. So yeah, let's just say I went through a lot. Oh, the brake booster, that had to be replaced. Something else that was not, in the budget, but had to be done because it was completely rusted to pieces. So yeah, to get to this point, man, I'm telling you, it has been just rough to get to this. And I am so happy, like everything is way up here of excitement right now, if you can't tell. I've wanted my truck back forever. Ever since I put this engine in, I've not been able to drive it. I haven't had any fun with it at all. It was 2 weeks that I got to drive it, and then after that, it went to nothing of ripping it apart, back together, and ripping it apart and back together, and it just, I'm beat. I'm really beat. I was losing motivation big time on this one. But this truck is not done. There is still more to do. God, I love that exhaust. And so there's more to come on this S10, that's for sure. This 5-speed swap, man, this thing's awesome. Shifting good, there's no noises so far. Engine's doing great, temperature's good, oil pressure's great, and we're charging. But yeah, go get some gas. Got about 1/4 of the tank, and I want to put some more in. All right, back from the gas station. Engine's still hot. Go ahead and change this oil. It's not been changed since I put the engine in, and I want to change it. Make sure and get more bearing material or whatever that could be still in the oil or the pan. Oh yeah, it's dark. Daggum, I ain't even had that many miles on it and it's dirty. Huh. Well, good thing I'm changing it. Put a better filter on it too. I changed the filter and then drove it 100 miles or so, and now I'm going to change the oil into the filter. I'm just trying to filter out any contaminants or pieces of metal that was in the engine block, pan, bearings, anything, especially if it looks like that. It's a little dark. I still see bearing material in the oil. That's not good. That's not good at all. Good thing we're running some thick oil, running diesel oil. I think it was either 10W30 or 15W something. And I'm not using Lucas anymore. I'm using some other stuff, and I'll show you that and stuff in just a second. So I use a Wix filter. I don't use anything else. This is a 2-wheel drive filter. You can get a 4-wheel drive filter that's shorter, but I like the longer ones. So 51036 is the part number for that guy. And I get my oil at Tractor Supply because it's a lot freaking cheaper than the parts stores. And even when the parts store has it on sale, I can still go to Tractor Supply and get it. So 10W30 with that, and then 1 bottle of this stuff. I started getting this at O'Reilly's. AutoZone used to carry it, but now they went to a small little bottle for the same price, and I'm like, yeah, no. So for, I think it's like somewhere around 10 to 15 bucks, you get one of these. I think it's like 13, but yeah, Rise Alone, Hyperlube, oil supplement, dry starts, and oil breakdown and friction. So yeah, 1 bottle of this, and the rest with that and the filter. And I like this because it doesn't do like Lucas. Lucas would foam up and then doesn't do the protection additives like it's supposed to. And I'm using diesel oil because of the flat type of cam. But I heard that that's still not enough zinc for those. So I need to add like a bottle of zinc just because. But yeah, this definitely helps. And if my oil pressure decreases over time, then I may swap it over to like 15W40 or something like that. I figured I'd show this little trick, an idea I came up with a long time ago. And I need to take it to somebody and have the actual something made out of this so I can use it on different vehicles of mine that I have. But for S10s, if you got a 2.8 and front wheel drive vehicles, you get a piece of cardboard and you something like from pizza or whatever, and about as long as this drain pan here, from here to here, you want to make it like a valley all the way down and crunch it just like that, and it runs all the way up to the oil filter. So when you take the oil filter down, it drains right down into the pan, don't make a mess, doesn't get all over the frame and everything else, and less of a mess, cleaner job. Well, next day, oil change is done. Front end is greased up, tie rods, ball joints, all that good stuff. You know, these are very common for failure. But there's way more to come on this truck. I am not done. No project is ever done. If you're a car guy, you know what I mean by that. So yeah, we got front brakes coming, you know, slided rotors and things like that I want to put on it. Control arms, upper and lower, ball joints, things like that. It needs some steering because the steering has a little bit too much play. And I know it's not the right joint because it has the Jeep Cherokee steering shaft I put in it, modified to fit. So yeah. So basically, the truck is back together. It's finally finished as far as running and driving again. The 5-speed swap is mint. Knowing what I know now, I would have swapped this thing a long time ago. Having so many of these S10s, seeing it done, and working on so many and doing so many different things, knowing what I know, I could have swapped it. I had a 92 S10 with no title. I paid $300 for. That thing had 337,000 miles, but that 2.8 and a 5-speed that it had was perfect running. And it's on the channel. I'll leave a link in the below and you can check that out for yourself. But I could have took the wiring harness, the engine and transmission with the TBI that was on it, and stuffed it into this, and it would have worked just fine. I just thought that it was going to be too complicated or it would not work, but it was literally really easy to swap this over to a manual transmission, especially having the indentions for the master cylinder reservoir that just need to be drilled and tapped, and then the hole in the firewall. The holes were already there, and the hole was already there. It just need to be popped out or drilled out. It was easy. And then the floor. That was pretty much it. And then swap the clutch pedal assembly over. You didn't have to remove the dash after all. It was pretty much just plug and play and swapping everything over. So yeah, most definitely, if I'd have known that a long time ago, I would have most certainly swapped it over. But there's more to come on this truck, like I say. And there's other things that I've done to this in between the swapping it over, you know, different transmissions that I was going through and swapping it over from an automatic to a manual. The gas tank's new, the sending unit's new, the fuel lines to those tanks are new, the fuel pump is new. It died on me. Yeah, the truck never ever broke down on me before, and at one time it just quit running because the fuel pump died. But something else I did to this, which is the bench seat. The bench seat's replaced from another junkyard truck. I mean, that's in mint condition. Mine had a big old hole right here, or it was torn, and it's got some rips on this one, but I cleaned this one up pretty good. It had some mold on it, but my other one had a big old like indention in it, to where when you sat in it for like 30 minutes to an hour on driving it around, your back started to hurt really bad, and leg wanted to cramp because of how the angle you had to sit in the seat. It sucked. I tried bucket seats, and those didn't work too well. So I've got gauges for this. I got another gauge cluster that I want to put in this. It has a factory tack, and I want to take the factory tack out, put this guy in that spot so it's clean looking in the dash and not sticking on the column or up there or whatever. And I've got other gauges I want to put in. I got to get rid of the transmission temperature gauge. I don't need that no more. Put that in the other car, and want to put in actual aftermarket gauges like this to have more accuracy, because the temperature does great, but my oil pressure, that's a little finicky. I don't trust that one. It says it has 80 psi when it's cold. That's not right. I know it has around 65 when it's cold and around 20 to 30 or something like that when it's hot, and this one's not showing that. And I've replaced the sensor, so I'm just done with this. I gotta find a GPS or electronic controlled speedometer that's round, that'll fit in this dash and cluster to look kind of stock. If anybody knows information on that part, because the transmission's an 89 and it has the electronic speed sensor on the transmission, I want to keep that. I want to run the wires all the way up to the dash and put an aftermarket speed odometer in this dash. They make kits that swap it over for that part, but they're stupid expensive. You're talking $400 to $800 for that kit, and that's just not in the budget. I'm looking for something that's, you know, no more than $250 or less, give or take, and we'll see what we can find. They have a GPS speedometer, but I want something that's got the trip meter and the odometer piece too. I don't want, you know, without that. I want to keep it on my mileage. So gotta look for that. And I got a lot more parts coming. I got some other things doing, stereo stuff that I want to do to this, and that'll be great because it's got new speakers in the back. And this truck didn't come with the carpet, didn't come with all the stuff around. I put all that in. It didn't come with rear speakers. This was a base model truck when I got it. I've done so much to this, but thank you guys for sticking around. And to the end of the video, if you like this video, big thumbs up. I appreciate it. Helps the algorithm, helps me out. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment below, let me know what you think. If you got any questions or comments or anything, information to help me out with that speedometer, I appreciate it. And as always, I will catch you guys later in the next one. Stay tuned for more content coming your way.